Oh, yeah, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
I get PR one time and I'm already a monster. Also, if you're one of those people who think,
if you're not wearing nails, you're not doing drag.
I don't know what else to tell you. Look away. There's going to be nails later in the video. There isn't now. Live with it. Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I don't know how you found me, but welcome. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and stick around after that very welcoming welcome that I just gave you. My name is Janessa, and I am North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And I have a very special video today. I am super excited to be able to share this with you. I know you've already seen it. It's been revealed. I'm much slower getting things put out, but I was like, I gotta get this out before the launch date because I have in my hot little nailless hands the Machina palette by Blend Bunny. This is their newest upcoming release, and I am so excited. This was gifted to me by the brand. I am so grateful. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about this look that's on my eyes, and we're going to do a whole second look with this palette as well. So if you're excited to see more about the Machina palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. So yes, friends, Champagne Dreamers, this is the Machina palette, and this is set to be released this Friday. I'm determined to get this video up on time, so it's going to be this Friday, December 1st. This is going live. I believe it's going to be $45. I am so excited about this. So if you caught my last video, the one that I've conveniently linked right here for you, it was my Makeup Thunderdome of Blend Bunny Cosmetics, where I ranked 11 face and eye palettes from Blend Bunny Cosmetics, one of my favorite indie brands. You know, if you make it to the Thunderdome, it's because I absolutely love your brand. And so I did that video and I ranked and I talked about them, and I just had a lot of fun and it was great. And I put it up and I got a notification that there was a comment on the video. And I went to the video, and when I first got there, I saw that it only had 4 views at the time. It only been up for a couple of hours, and I'm a very small channel, so, but I was like, oh, 4 views, okay. But then I looked at the comment, and it was from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. So they saw that I had tagged them on Instagram, that I had the video. She watched the video, and she left a very lovely, lovely comment. Maggie, the owner of Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and she reached out to me over Instagram and told me she loved the video, and we chatted a little bit. She was absolutely lovely. She said beautiful things, and she asked me what other palettes of hers that I didn't have. And I mentioned that Forget Me Not was the only palette that I didn't have. And in fact, when we filmed, it was only being previewed and sneak peeked. It hadn't even been released yet. And she said, you know what, I would love to send that palette to you, and I would love to send you our new palette. So this palette and Machina were both gifted to me by the brand. I am so appreciative, but I understand it's a business. I understand that every palette you send out to somebody, that's an investment. And so I really do appreciate that. Not only did she give me wonderful, wonderful comments about the video, which were absolutely lovely, but she also supported me enough to send me this palette and the new palette. So thank you so much to Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I really do appreciate this. When you're a little channel, it can be a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. It's a labor of love. And so even getting noticed a little bit when people reshare and tag and things like that, it really is something that is really meaningful. So thank you so much to the brand. And another thing that's special about this is that this is a collection that she's talked about on her social media, and this was a palette that she was working on with her father. And earlier this year, her father passed away. And her relationship with her father is remarkably different than mine was with my father. But that is also something that I experienced this year. My father passed away in the spring of this year. So for this to be the palette that she sent me is really kind of, it tugs on my heartstrings a little bit. So I am super appreciative of this. So this is the cover of the palette. I absolutely love this. I guess the inspiration of this is kind of like AI and robotics and sci-fi kind of meeting up with organic and with human and with real and natural, and we've got some florals, and it's a really kind of beautiful combination. I love this. Do I love it better than the Sugar and Grunge? I don't know. I had mentioned in my ranking video that Sugar and Grunge had my favorite packaging. This is a close. I know that it's like new and shiny, and so it's easy to say that like, now this is my favorite, this is my favorite. It's like when I was a kid, I was like, what do I want to be today when I grow up? But I do really love this. I would say that Sugar and Grunge is probably still my favorite, but just by a little bit. So I love this. And inside we have 24 beautiful shades. I love this. In typical Blend Bunny fashion, there's only one row of metallic shimmers, which I have to say that the shimmers that are in here are absolutely beautiful. And I love that she's still kind of poking the bear a little bit with the arrangement. So she did go back to the sort of gradients where we have the darkest, the middle, and the lightest. But for the shimmer, instead of putting them all in one row, she alternated whether they're on the top or the bottom. So each one is sort of a little bit offset. So even if you were following the lights, you would go here, 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 here. And then we've got the alternating shimmers. I love that. I think it's fun because it mixes up the palette. It mixes up your expectation. It still gives you some guidance if you're a little bit newer. And I think for a color story like this, I think it is good to have a little guidance because, again, if you're doing like a monochromatic look, I think that's a little bit easier. I think some of these colors, in terms of how you're going to work with them together, for a newer person might be a little bit tougher. We're going to play with that a little bit later on in the video. For somebody who's maybe a little bit intimidated by mixing colors, having those gradients I think is really helpful. But I love that she still kind of mixed it up and still played with it and did the alternating shimmers. I think it's fun. I'm never going to be that upset about how things are arranged in a palette, especially as long as they're all the same size and shape. That's the one thing that it just makes me quiver a little bit, is when they're like weird pan sizes and they're just like scattered like Scrabble tiles. I can't stand that. But I mean, this is beautiful. Now the look that I have on right now is using this palette. So I was really inspired by Karen Harris. I watched her video, I watched Angelica's videos, and I really loved what both of them did and the way that they played with the colors. But Karen, I thought she did a really great job of taking this color story, and she really created a look that represented the colors on the palette. Now in terms of the color story, one criticism that Angelica had was that she felt like the cover didn't necessarily perfectly represent the color story within. And I can understand that criticism a little bit, but I will say, and this might be what she's saying, I might just be saying it a little bit differently, is that I feel like this cover does represent what's inside, but it doesn't represent all of what's inside. So I think that with the greens, I would maybe have expected them to be a little bit more blue-based, cool greens instead of these more swampy greens. And I wouldn't necessarily have anticipated this row of like red and orange. But in terms of the rest of the palette, I think it absolutely encapsulates it. And that's why I decided to do kind of my own interpretation of what Karen did in her video, which was representing the palette. She didn't set out to do it, but it just kind of happened that way. She was like, hey, as I'm looking at this, it looks like the palette. If you want to check out her video, I'll make sure I link it right here for you. But I thought I want to do that with my own little twist. So I used a lot of the same colors. I used, in the crease, I started with Attract, and then went to Enamored, these two pinks, and kind of set up the ridge of the eye look. I mean, I'm a big old drag queen, so I need to fill more real estate anyway. So I wanted much more of the pink. A lot of the pink got kind of, it was there, but it was a little bit softer. It was more about the purple blue, and I wanted it to be more of a play between the two. So I put kind of a bridge on there of those, and then I went in, I think she used Emote. I went in with Glitch, the one that's a little bit lighter, and did that on the edge. And then on the lid, I did Cyborg, this beautiful duochrome, multichrome, whatever it is. I'm not really sure, but it's beautiful. It's kind of a bluey, pinky, purpley. I absolutely love this. So I did that on the lid. And then I did a little bit of Conscious just to help blend that toppery shade into the darker mattes on the edge. So I used a little bit of that. And then I did use a little bit of Mortality on the lower lash line and a little bit at the top, just where it blended up into that pink up there. So I did a little bit of that. And I think that's most of what I used. I don't think I used any other shades. So that's how we got this look. And then for the rest of the face, I wanted this really blush drapey look. I wanted it very 80s, very like sci-fi Blade Runner. So I did a little bit of contour. I started with a cream contour. I used the Trixie Cosmetics Trixie Sticks. And then I went into Forget Me Not. And I used a little bit of this shade here, Picture Perfect, just in the very, very hollows of my cheek. And then went into this shade Together and built that out a little bit. Now these both, with the cream, it was a little bit dark, but I was like, don't worry about it. I powdered over it, and then I knew I was gonna cover it all in beautiful, beautiful blush. So I do have to say that using these over a cream was maybe not my best choice, but it didn't harm the look. It was something where I was like, oh, if you're gonna do that, maybe just put it right down over the foundation. Don't put it over a cream contour. But I do love this. It's very fun. So then for the blush draping moment, I went into the Juicy Cheeks palette. I love this palette. It's bright, beautiful blushes. Now, one thing I didn't mention in my ranking video that I thought of as I was editing the footage is that another thing that I like about this palette in particular, which is also true of the Bare Cheeks palette, but it's a little bit less pronounced, is I love that for each of these like pairs of blushes, you get a really beautiful gradient. So if you have a lighter blush, if you want a lighter blush moment, you can go with this row. If you want a darker blush, you can go with this. But if you're like me and you're not afraid to like layer blushes and get a little bit of a gradient, you've got this light yellow going into an orange, you've got this peachy red going into a red, these two shades of pink and these two purples, and you can create a gradient of blush. I love gradients of blush. I love multiple blushes. I love layering matte and shimmer blushes. So I love that there are these little pairs in here, and I used the two pinks, and then at the very extremes, most of which is covered up by my wig, unfortunately, but I did use a little bit of this purple just in the very deep part of my temple. It's there, I promise. And now I gotta get this fucking wig back on. And then for the lips, these got a little out of control. They're a little bit wild, but it's not Blend Bunny's fault. I actually need to blame Made by Mitchell. I had a blue liner from the Made by Mitchell collection that I was going to use to line the lips because I wanted this sort of hypothermia lip. And I've got this beautiful Sugar High lip oil from the Sickly Sweet collection. And so I thought, well, I'll line and fill in part of my lip with a blue liner. And then I'll put this lip oil over it so I get that hypothermia where it's still kind of my lip color in the middle. And I have had that Mitchell liner. There's going to be a whole video with rants about bad makeup products that's coming up a little bit later, sometime in December. And I'm going to talk more about it. But I've had it less than 2 months and it's already dried up. So I wasn't able to use that one. So I had to kind of search around. And I found this kind of dark navy liner, but it's more of like an eyeshadow crayon. So I used that to do the liner, and then I put the lip oil over it. And I do kind of like it. I like the way that it turned out. It still gave me most of the effect that I wanted, but I wanted the blue to be much more vibrant than it is. But I still like the way the look came out. So, and of course, this like alien sex highlighter is Blend Bunny as well. The Noctilucent palette and the shade Apparition. I know that my camera, we've been playing with the settings. Hopefully the color is better in this video. These never look right because they're so shifty and beautiful, but this is such a beautiful like pink to blue highlighter. And that's what I have all over my face, just dripping. So that's how I created this look. But now we're gonna go ahead and do a second look.
But now for a second look, what I wanna do is go in and not just work the rows, but I wanna play with some things that maybe you wouldn't expect to go together. And I especially wanna use some of these orangey tones with these swampy greens.
Makeup shouldn't be stressful. It should be a good time. But if you wanna challenge yourself, I'm gonna give you a look that hopefully works out. That's the other thing. It's also an experiment. So hopefully we'll be able to see a way to use some of these shades together in maybe a way you didn't expect. Welcome to the Get Ratchet With Me portion of this video. I'm your host, the Potato Face Serial Killer. And I'm looking extra corpsey today. I don't know what it is. So I used the Juvia's Place foundation. I love this foundation. This is the original I Am Magic. I don't know if this color has turned. I don't know if I just looked at it before with rose-colored glasses. I feel like I look a little bit corpsey, but we're going to take care of it with other cheek products and face products, so that's okay. I'm also using the Makeup Revolution IRL Concealer a little bit under the eyes. That foundation is also really thick, and I put it on thick, so I also set my whole face with the Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the Shimmering Brightening Setting Powder, whatever it is, in the shade Brighten Up. I don't think this is available anymore. And then I've got just a little bit of the Lunar Beauty Pink Powder under the eyes to catch fallout, maybe do a little baking. So that's what's going on so far. Let's get into Machina. So we're gonna start with, I like to build the shape of my eye look, so I'm gonna start with this shade, which is Error Code, and then transition over to Diode.
I've been trying my best not to think about you, but you're stuck in my mind. I've been hypnotized by you. Hey, all the suffering and pain got me feeling so blue. Cause when it was us, I was never enough. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, pushing me down instead of pulling me up. So tell me what I'm supposed to do just to be alright. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what I was thinking, but this kind of swampy yellow-green, I swear, I just look at it in the pan and it looks green to me. I kind of thought it could be a problem because it's definitely lighter than this one. So this was not a great choice. That's why we call these Get Ratchet With Me, because it's all an experiment. We see how it's going to go. I'm going to cover this up with digital. We're going to go right to that one. These are next to each other. I should have paired them up, especially since I wanted the peachy oranges in the inner part, which I want lighter. It's a process. Just trust the process. That's more the color I want, but it's definitely not layering well. This is also a problem that I have. So it's a combination of trying to layer the mattes and having that really bright one underneath that's fighting to get through. And also this is the edge of where I put my primer. And I always have weird patchiness right at the edge of where my primer is. And I have it with all different brands, all different kinds of makeup, and all different primers. So I'm not sure what causes it. I think I'm going to apply a little bit more primer. I'm going to wipe that off, and I'm going to apply a little bit of new primer just so that we don't have that yellow fighting its way through. But I do like this peach to this green is more of what I was envisioning. I didn't mention this before, but I'm using the Ulta Ultimate Matte Eye Primer. It's a favorite.
I've been worrying about my mental health, cause when I'm alone, I keep checking my phone, yeah. Seeing all these people, having someone to lean on, while I don't. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, pushing me down instead of pulling me up. So tell me what I'm supposed to do just to...
Someday she'll learn how to paint two eye shapes that are remotely similar. But you know what? I think it's gonna be cute. I do still like that shade Diode. Is it yellow? Is it green? I don't know. But I'm gonna kind of take a big fluffy brush and I'm gonna go above both the peach and the green and just kind of blend out that edge with that color.
Be alright. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, yeah.
probably tame that down a little bit later when we do the eyebrows, but for now it just gives us a little bit to kind of blend those shades together. I'm going to save darkening up until the end so that I'm going to play more with the shape and the colors, but I'm going to go into this, which is Conduct. This is the kind of orangey yellow shimmer, and I'm going to put that on the inner part here, leaving a little room down here so that we can go back in with Sci-Fi a little bit later. This definitely goes a little bit pink, and it's a little bit light, so I'm gonna spray it.
Got me thinking I was messed up, pushing me down instead of pulling me up. So tell me what I'm supposed to do just to be alright. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up.
I wasn't paying attention. I got a big chunk out of the shade, so we just kind of finger banged it out a little bit. I hate this look. So I love peach and orange, but this is just not coming together for me. I don't know if I'm just stressing myself out too much about it. We're gonna take it back down to the base, and we're gonna come up with a new plan. Okay, never mind. I don't know how much of that we'll show you, but makeup is an experiment, an experience. I always say trust the process, but I wasn't liking the way the process was coming together. So in the spirit of getting this done faster and making sure we have a really great look, I decided to switch it up. I need a little bit more time to practice. I just got this today. So to use those together successfully, I think I need a little bit more time. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not advanced. So sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to kind of figure out the best way to use things together. So I still want to use this kind of orangey red row, but I'm going to bring in some of these pinks, and I think we're still going to bring in maybe some of these dark blues. I really would like the purples with this too, but I feel like I already used these for the last look. So I don't know, we'll see as we go. But we're gonna go ahead and start once again with Error Code, this peachy shade. That's what I want in the inner part. And so I'm sticking with it. But this shade ended up being very pink when I put it on, so I think having some of this pink to kind of blend with it. In fact, maybe I'll start a little bit with Attract and then go into Error Code. We'll play around with that. Okay, hooker.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon is the sun, we don't care about the other.
Wow, who knew that peach and pink would blend together better than peach and green? Damn it.
I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire.
Alright, I'm going to finish up some of this blend on the upper part with this shade Burn, which is the bright orange. That's red. That's definitely like a popsicle red. I still love it. I don't know why I'm having trouble with colors today. Oh, but I love the way that blends in with the peach. That's beautiful.
You set my
So I don't know what's going on with the way that I see these colors. To me, this looks so green, and you apply it, and it's definitely yellow. Like, it's got green tones, it's a little swampy, but it's yellow. This is red. I see orange when I look at that, but when I apply it, it's red. But you know what? This blend, gorgeous. This pink into this peach into this red, I am loving it. So I think we are going to stick with these purples, because I think that will give us a nicer melt, just to darken with these purples rather than to go into these more austere blues. But maybe I'll bring in a little bit of this, or maybe I'll bring in the black from here. Maybe we won't even go into like a purple. Maybe we'll bring some purple with the shimmer. Maybe we'll do the black and then blend with a purple shimmer just in between the other shimmers. Yeah, let's do that. Thinking out loud. Thinking on my feet. Or on my butt while I'm sitting here. These shimmers to really pop, so I'm going to do kind of a faux cut crease with the Gloss Gods, that base in white, and so I'll put some white down and then I'll put the shimmers over it. So now that I have the white done, I actually really like the way this looks, the white with this. So we're changing gears yet again. I am a creature of whimsy. And so on the inner part, I'm actually going to use this shade Switch, which is a silver, but it looks like it's got some different kind of shifts to it. Very excited about that. And then I'm going to put Mortality, and then we'll blend into the edge with this shade Conscious. I almost called it Luscious. I don't know where that came from. Conscious. Switch. Mortality. Conscious.
We're the last people standing, still dancing when the lights come on. The music is fading, but this is our favorite part. I used to feel like an outcast, but I think I'm alright after all.
All right, I'm loving the way that this blend has come together. I sometimes like to throw a little bit in between the shimmers and the mattes. I like to put a bit of a dark color to kind of give some extra definition. And I think I was gonna go in with the black, but maybe I will go in with a little bit of purple since we've got that purple shimmer and it'll kind of tie that in. So I'm gonna use Glitch. Well, you know, I used that. I'm gonna use Emote, this darker purple, because I didn't use that in the first look. Just a little something. It gives it a little extra texture, and I think that it helps everything kind of blend together and flow a little bit more seamlessly.
This feeling never felt so high. Won't even care if you and I come crashing down tonight. I'll let it hit me. It feels different whenever you're around. If I'm blue again tomorrow, that's alright. 'Cause I'm so damn happy now. When I'm at my darkest, you're always there to pick me up. I don't think that I'll tell you enough that I love you and how you like me.
All right, for the lower lash line, we did a little bit of Emote to blend that into the black. We did Burn, and then I did a little bit of Mortality just to give it a little sparkle and to blend it into that white shade in the inner corner. I'm gonna add mascara and lashes, and I'll be right back. All right, so we got a little bit done here. We got the lashes on, and if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that I ride the struggle bus when it comes to eyebrows, but something I've been doing lately that works really, really well is I've been drawing on the shape with cake liner. So this is the Neon Festival cake liner palette from Gavisi Beauty, and I just used the purple and I used a little angled eyeliner brush and I just drew the shape on. And my eyebrows never match, but they don't have to be perfect because then I'm going to go over them with shadow. Usually I do pencil and then shadow, but I'm always bumping into them and rubbing them off. And what I find is that when I do the shape with liner and then do the shadow, it stays much better. So I'm going to use the shade Glitch, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Mortality at the end and maybe even a touch of Switch just to kind of echo the colors that are in the eye look.
I used to feel like an outcast, but with you I know that I belong. Like it's us against the world. You like me for me without all of the glitter, and you make me laugh just like a little kid. And all my insecurities just disappear when you're here with me. I've been a stranger to this feeling, never felt so high. Won't even care if you and I come crashing down tonight. I'll let it hit me. It feels different whenever you're around. If I'm blue again tomorrow, that's alright.
All right, so there, I love a good ombre brow, and we did a little bit of contour as well. I started with the Forget Me Not palette, and I went into this shade. Which one? I went into Here and Now, because I wanted a little bit more cooler toned. It was real cool toned, so be ready for that, because I'm a cool tone bitch, so if you're like a neutral, or maybe you're a little bit warmer, this might help neutralize some stuff. For me, already being very cool toned, this was very, very cool toned. It went a little bit gray, so I just warmed it up a little bit with the shades Just a Touch and In the Buff from the Bare Cheeks palette. So we're gonna do more blush because I'm a blush monster, but I just did that to get a little contour, and then I just did a bronzer on my neck because we gotta have the brown turtleneck to cover up the Jabba the Hutt situation. So for the cheeks, since this is kind of red and pink together, I'm gonna mix together Power Play and Baby Girl. So I'll start with Power Play and then I'll blend in some Baby Girl. I don't think we'll have too much that's just that shade. That's maybe a little darker than I want to go with this, because I mean, I go crazy and I might end up with a full blush drape forehead and everything, but I want to try to go subtler this time. We'll see if I can rein myself in. Probably not.
I'm so damn happy now.
to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my head down if I won. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like.
Obviously very extreme for your average everyday blush wearer. But for me, this is a subtle look. So for highlight, I'm going to go into the Noctilucent palette. And I'm going to go into the shade Phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena. Do 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 do.
You can do better. So much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better.
Alright, so the battery died. While we were switching that out, I just finished up the highlighter. You know how I do. More is more. We just pack it on. If you look like the Tin Man, then you haven't gone quite far enough. So, like, it's a lot. But here we are. So now we're going to finish up with the lip, and then I'll put on a wig and finish out the drag, and we'll have some final thoughts. So I'm going to use this Blend Bunny. This was from the Sugar and Grunge collection. This is the shade Sweetheart, and I've just got a brown melt lip liner. You know I love my Chola lip with the like darker line. If I do a lipstick without a line, it feels weird, so I just am gonna embrace it. I became Janessa in the 90s. That's my life, that's my story, that's my journey. Let me live.
To be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I want to be silly, baby. Dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes up.
More people have been embracing that going just straight across the top. And I should learn to do that because I am always on the struggle bus trying to create these little peaks. But I also sort of hate that. Whenever I do it on me, I don't like the way it looks. So I guess enjoy this footage of me struggling.
Let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. So much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. You can.
Alright, so this is the look. This would be where most people would stop with the lip. But have we met?
'Cause I can't stop, and I won't stop.
I have to have some shimmer on the lip. I have to. I love it. So I'm going to go in with this Sugar Drizzle. This is, what is this called? Strawberry Pop. This is one of their like multi-chrome liquid lipsticks. Because I need, the eyes are beautiful. And I know that like you should try to, if you have big eyes, you should have like a calmer mouth. I don't believe in that. I think you should have color and shine and sparkle everywhere. That's how you achieve full hooker clown status.
Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off. You don't have to hide it. Baby, let your head down.
Now, I don't know if I didn't let the liquid lipstick underneath dry long enough or it just reactivated it. But actually, I think this is a nice middle ground with how over the top I like to go and where somebody else who didn't want to stop at the original but maybe doesn't want to go as crazy as I go. This seems like a nice middle ground because you get some of the shimmer, but it kind of mixed together and you just get this beautiful sort of melange of pinks. I love it. Let me put some drag on and let's have some final thoughts. All right, so this is the look. This is the video. Let's get into some final thoughts about the new Machina palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Absolutely no surprise to anybody who watched my Blend Bunny ranking video. I love this palette. I love Blend Bunny Cosmetics, their formulas, their color stories. I am a big fan. Now, in terms of where I would put this in the ranking, I need a little time to think. I think I would put it maybe like either just below where I stuck in Sickly Sweet, that was another kind of late entry, or maybe right below Blends. I think Blends is a little bit more beginner friendly. It's a little bit more versatile. I do love this one. I love the packaging. Like I said, probably my second favorite packaging. But this color story, I do love this. I think it's a lot of fun. I think you've got a lot of variety here. I think you've got some beautiful colors that work together. And I think you've got some unexpected colors. I do think that this is maybe not as beginner friendly as some of the other palettes. I think that Blends, you can give that to anybody at any level and they will just run with it and they can make beautiful things. And as they grow in their skills, it'll become even more useful. This one I do think is a little bit tricky. Even I had trouble. You saw earlier in the video, I was like, I'm going to put these oranges and greens together. And actually in the ranking video of my Blend Buddy ranking video, I was wearing an orange and green look. I love orange and green together. But these just weren't quite right to pair together for me, the way I was putting them together. For some reason, things in the pan, I saw them one way, and the minute I put them on, I'm like, that's a different color. So I feel like it's maybe a little bit more intermediate in terms of combining the colors. Now, if you're a little bit more beginner, you do have these coordinated rows. Again, we love that. We love that Blend Bunny tends to do that. And so I have tried quite a few of the shades in this palette with the two looks that I did. And it's the same beautiful Blend Bunny formula. I did have that little bit of trouble with patchiness when I was trying to put this color over this color, and especially layering on top of this bright, almost neon yellow. That was my problem, and it was also right on the edge of my primer, like I talked about, so I don't think that's the fault of this formula. I would just say that if you do like to layer and have a lot of blend, but I mean the blend here, look at this blend. Look at the blend that I had on earlier in the video. Gorgeous. You can get gorgeous blends from these, no question. It was just when I tried to like totally cover up this shade with that one, that's where I went wrong. So I definitely love this. I'm loving these colors. I think this is beautiful. And I do love the story behind this as well. I'm glad that she was able to finish this palette that she worked on with her father, and she gets to kind of celebrate that at the end of the year as we're heading into holiday times where we're spending time with family. This can be one of those more emotional times when you've lost somebody that you love. And so I'm glad that during this holiday time she gets to release this and share it and talk about it, and that can be one of those bridges to someone that she's lost. So I think that's wonderful. So would I recommend this palette? Absolutely. I think Blend Bunny, you can't go wrong with any of their palettes. I think the formula really is good, and I think that it's really good if you are a beginner and if you're not as sure. There are ways using the coordinated rows to really work with the shadows, and I think that the coordinated rows, the mixed up ones, no matter what palette you have, the formula is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Now, if you're like me and you're a whore for shimmer, of course, Blend Bunny, they are known for those scrumptious, delicious, beautiful blendable mattes. There's not going to be as many shimmers as there are mattes, and I have certainly come to terms with this. And I love it because you know what? I can always use the mattes and bring in a multi-chrome from another palette, or bring in the Trove palette, or something like that. So I think it's a great building block. Any of their palettes are fantastic, and I think this one fits nicely into the line. I think that if you missed out on Surge, I think there's some brights and some vivids in this palette that really speak to where Surge was going. They're not as neon, they're not as bright, they're not as pastel, as light pastel, but there are some beautiful colors that could give you a little bit of that feeling. So I think this is a great palette. I love it. I'm such a fan, and I love the way this look came together once I got my shit together. So that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you again to Blend Bunny for gifting me the Machina palette and the Forget Me Not palette. I did use a little bit of that in the contouring again, so a great chance to try that palette out as well. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate the beautiful things you said in our DMs on Instagram. I really do appreciate it. And I am so excited for this launch. It launches on December 1st. And I am determined, come hell or high water, that I'm going to have this up before December 1st. It's going to happen. So definitely let me know down in the comments below. Are you thinking about picking this up? What do you think about the color story? What do you think about the shades? I am loving it. If you want to give me any advice for how I could work those oranges and greens together in a better way than I did, because clearly I struggled. I love orange and green together, so I'm going to master it. Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget, if you appreciate this video, if you want to show Blend Bunny that you appreciate their support of small channels like mine, which again, I'm just glowing. I'm so grateful. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you are sick of my face, if you are sick of this hooker clownery, you don't like the looks that I do, give me that thumbs down. If you're going to be here hate watching anyway, then give me that thumbs down. You know what? It's all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I try really hard to make sure I have at least one video a week, and sometimes you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, blenderific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. I am so happy that you come and tune into these videos. I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate all the comments. I read all of them. I love to go in and respond to them. So thank you. It was just Thanksgiving before I filmed this video, so I am thankful for all of you. And until I see you again, bye. Inside, we have 24 beautiful shapes.
You love squares.
All right, going into Noctilucent, I know you're not going to be able to see these shades, but I'm going to go into the shade Phenomena. Do, 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 do.
Is that
Phenomena.
why you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I spoke while you were going to do it.